Who's telling you to intro?
Don't know. So.
Okay. Intro. That was an intro.
I thought you actually said hey intro like you were introducing.
Hey intro. Okay. I'm not too bad, right? How are you?
That's it.
Hey, you make it start. Okay. Right, here we go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another rib snorting, I don't know what that means, rib tickling, ribified, rib-eyed steak episode of Stace and Barry in the morning, or as I like to say, one step ahead of the bad guys. Sorry. We've been talking Aladdin before this episode started, and I just needed to get a little bit of one step ahead of the bad guys. That's how you do it live action, just like that. Stupid.
I was going to say you have actually genuinely got a better voice than the guy who plays Aladdin, who is the human equivalent of the colour magnolia. Like, it's just so fucking bland and forgettable. You should just, if you were recording that earlier, just put our little Aladdin review at the end for everybody.
Yes, I was recording it, and I shall. But I should warn you, if this episode comes across very positive, and you want to keep that positive vibe, maybe don't listen to our I wouldn't even call it our review.
It was a rant.
Just our Aladdin live action rant.
It was definitely a rant.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
Right then.
Morning.
Morning, love.
How you diddling?
I'm diddling fine. My diddle is fine.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all got me sexy.
We'll just leave that there, shall we?
Should we just skip the pleasantries and go straight into a segment to avoid trouble?
Just get to a segment for the love of God.
Segment, I don't know which one. What do you want to start with?
Well, I've been talking. So do you? I've been talking. Yes. So do you want to go with your pick of the fortnight?
Okie dokie. My pick of this here fortnight is Devs. Have you been watching this, McBarry?
Ooh, I've watched the first 2 episodes.
Okie dokie. That's good because I wasn't going to spoil it anyway, but I feel like a passing knowledge of vaguely what this show is about might help.
Yeah, because it's a bit hard to explain.
I was going to say, because the title makes you think, oh, it's clearly about a development company, and, you know, in a way it is, but also it's really not. Literally, we only decided to watch this because it is, the creator of it is the guy behind the movie adaptation of Annihilation, which came out, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. Because time is.
Yeah, I know he did a film called Ex Machina, which I haven't seen.
Oh, that's cracking, that.
And yet, when I was watching this, the first episode, I was like, even though I've heard the director guy, I was like, there's something familiar with the style of the show that I thought I've seen this before somewhere. So you saying Annihilation, I'm like, yeah, that fits now.
Yeah. So if you've seen Annihilation or Ex Machina, you've probably got more of an idea of what you're letting yourself in for with this, which is not just like a tale about, I don't know, some development company developing a thing. It's very well. I've got 1 episode left to watch, I think, and it is a show about a development, like an IT sort of like development company, helmed by the ever wonderful Nick Offerman, who I absolutely love. I think I could listen to his voice for just hours, just like reading the phone book. It's just beautiful. So he runs this company, and they are developing a thing, an algorithm. I don't want to say what it does because that's a fairly big plot point. But like, aside from the actual like developmenty stuff, there's also a lot of like sort of sci-fi and philosophy and questions about humanity and spiritualness. It's a lot deeper than the title Devs gives it credit for, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I say, if you've seen Annihilation and Ex Machina and that sort of thing, you'll probably have a good idea of what level you're working with. It is absolutely gorgeous to look at as well. Like, the cinematography and stuff in it is just gorgeous, and the set design, especially particularly in the devs development area, is just like, I could find myself accidentally having to go back and watch a bit again because I've realised I've just been staring at a thing in the background like, that looks amazing, oh my god, how did they do that? And I've missed a load of plot that people are actually saying. But it's wonderful. Like, it's one of those things where I wasn't sure I was going to like it because I'm a bit thick and I'm easily confused. So I thought, this is going to be a thing, you know, where I'm going to watch it and I'm going to be like, I don't get it, and then I'll get mad at myself and I'll just, I don't know, play some Pokemon Go instead. But it is so well written. I think Alex Garland has a really great way of and obviously it's like his writing teams and all that sort of thing as well, but he's got a really great way of sort of making things understandable for people who haven't got a fucking blues clue about the stuff that he's talking about, without it seeming like he's talking down at you or condescending to you.
Yeah.
Which is great. Because like I say, I am easily confused. But it's just wonderful. It's so well acted, and I'm so intrigued as to where it's got. Like, I still don't think I know 100% what's supposed to be happening and what might happen next. So I'm very intrigued to watch the next episode, and I would highly recommend it to anybody who has the ability to watch it. But I can't remember what streaming service it's on, so sorry.
It's on.
Google it.
It's on BBC iPlayer.
There you go.
I know, because I was watching. Said we've watched the first 2 episodes. Sue's out now; she's jumped ship with it. I said I'm going to stick with it just because. And again, I'm trying to choose my words carefully. But something happened in the second episode, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I need to know what that's about."
Mm-hmm.
But it's really. I was trying to explain this to someone. The pacing of it feels really slow, but at the same time it feels really deliberate, which can be confused with being slow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you're right, there's some amazing visuals and a very, very scary statue of a child.
Oh, I hate that thing. Why does that exist?
It's just wrong. Just terrifies me.
Oh, nightmare child.
Yeah, why would you have that there? Is there no one in the meeting to kind of go, I don't think that's a good idea?
What a waste of money, Forrest. Put it away.
Yeah, just put it away. And so I'm definitely gonna stick with it, because especially after hearing you talk about it now, I want to see how it ends up. But I feel that some people might get a bit lost after the first episode, lost from a point of view of not necessarily understanding what's going on, but kind of thinking this is a bit slow.
Yeah, from a pacing standpoint, I would put it alongside stuff like, did you ever watch the Hannibal TV show?
I think I watched most of the first season. So that's quite a good analogy, actually.
Yeah, because it's another show that it's very smart, and it feels like it knows what it's doing. I think that's why I don't mind that it was a bit slow, because it always felt like it knew exactly what it was doing, and every moment was important.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about Devs. It's, like you say, it's very deliberate.
Yeah, and I think because especially now there's so much on TV at the moment that I think every show has their own pacing. Whereas I feel like way back in the day, a lot of shows all felt the same in the way they did their pacing.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of, and us as well, because we don't get this sort of rinse and repeat now with shows. Every show is effectively one long story. you kind of have to get used to the pacing of each show that you're watching.
Mm.
And there's some where if it's not intriguing, if you've got a slow paced show or deliberate paced show, if what you're showing isn't intriguing enough, not necessarily engaging, but intriguing enough, then that's enough to make me jump ship. It's got to have something in there. Whereas even though I'm kind of struggling a little bit, I want answers. Whereas if shows that have tried to do the same thing, I'm like, you know what, I'm not fussed. Keep your fucking answers. I'm out. Joey, I'll get them off Wikipedia in a year. Yeah. And I have done that before with some shows. I've just got, you know what, I'm out. But I want to find out. I'll wiki it. It's fine. And then on Wikipedia, I'm like, yep, dodge that bullet. Joey.
But you still watched all of Smallville.
Anyway, next segment.
No, it's your pick of the fortnight, Bab.
Oh no, do I have to have a pick of the? I don't think I've got.
I mean, you don't have to. I mean, we have talked for 15 minutes already.
Yeah, I don't think I've got one.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's do another segment then.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I did.
A moth.
I
Oh my god, it scared the shit. Sorry, a moth just appeared out of nowhere and scared the shit out of me because it's right in front of my face and it is so fucking small. It's hilarious.
All right.
Oh god. Continue. Sorry.
I'll say this really quickly. I've started to watch a show called Giri Haji.
Okay.
Giri is duty in Japanese and Haji is shame in Japanese.
Oh.
And this is a show that was on the BBC last year. And Sue said it was really well advertised. I don't think it was. And it's quite difficult to explain. It's a thriller, but it's kind of kicks off in Japan with some murders, and then it goes to London.
Right.
And here's the blurb. It's soulful thriller set in Tokyo and London, exploring the butterfly effect of a single murder across two cities. A dark, witty, and daring examination of morality and redemption. And it's really, I've seen 2 episodes so far. It's really good. And again, the reason why it's stuck in my mind is the pacing on that is very similar to the pacing on Devs.
Mm.
But difference being, obviously, this is like a crime drama. And it's kind of centered around 2 brothers, and one of them's both are Japanese. One of them's a cop, and one of them is Yakuza.
Ah.
And it's just the flashbacks and stuff, and all the rest of it. And it's very stylish and quite different. And that's on Netflix.
Cool.
8 episodes.
Oh, that's always good when it's not too many episodes.
Yeah, I know. It's my go-to, my happy place.
Excellent.
Yeah. Right, you may continue.
I can't remember what tune I was doing. So just finished that thought.
All right, that'll do. It's fine.
Musical musings. Hey, do you want to go first?
Okay. Over the weekend, we watched Gemini Man. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
So Gemini Man is the film with Will Smith where effectively he's calling it Gemini Man. I'm calling it how you can do a film where you want to get paid twice because he's putting 2 roles at it. Where he's an assassin, and I don't think it's really a spoiler because the clues in the sort of title and the poster and the trailer. Where he's this kind of aging like assassin. He works for this sort of secret government cabal, and he ends up getting hunted by a younger version of himself.
Oh.
And actually, it's a decent action film. I do think, though, the whole de-aging technology needs work. We're not there yet. Because when it's dark, it was actually really good.
You mean when you can't see him? It's great.
Yeah. When it's dark, you can kind of trick yourself and you think, "Wow, it's a young Will Smith." But whenever he's like in broad daylight, it's like that is. Sue said he just looks like a character from a video game cutscene. I'm like, yeah, I can't even deny that. But as I said, it's a decent film. It's fun, a few beers, Saturday afternoon, check it out. However, when the film started, I turned to him, I was like, whoever's done this soundtrack, I know them. I've heard this before, and it's Lorne Balfe. I think I've said that right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's his Dark Materials person,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah, and the last Mission Impossible film.
Ah.
Mm. So I kind of want to pick the whole album and say the whole album is great, go listen to it. But the first track, which is called Last Shot, I want to put as my musical musings, just because that was the first track I heard that made me sort of think this is a composer I recognise. So yeah.
Excellent.
Ooh.
I can't decide whether or not I want to see that film. Maybe it's a Saturday afternoon beer movie.
Yeah, go into it with the right mindset.
Drunk.
Can't even deny. Yeah.
Excellent. I've got a slightly weird musical musing this time because it's not from a film, it's from a video game. Booyah. My other half bought Streets of Rage 4 because he's cooler than I am at video games. And I was really struck. I've not played Streets of Rage anything before. I was very much a Mortal Kombat gal when I was younger. Never played Street Fighter or Streets of Rage. And I was immediately struck by how great the soundtrack to Streets of Rage 4 is. It is so good. And it is a great soundtrack to getting shit done at work, I've discovered. Because it's got that sort of frenzied kind of chip tune kind of dance. It's almost like the whole album to me is almost like a DJ set, and like there's periods where it gets a little bit more manic and a little bit more frenetic, and you're like, oh, I've got to get this email done. If you're a cool person like I am. But the particular song I wanted to choose is called The Streets, which is by Olivier de Rivière, I want to say. Let's say that's how it's pronounced, don't know. It is what I can only assume, because I haven't heard it in the game yet, plays when you are fighting on the streets rather than in a building of some description. Handily, all the songs are called something sensible, like Estelle, round 1, or like The Commissioner. He's just like, oh, you're kicking the ass of a commissioner, cool. But it is just like a proper, it's retro enough with it, but it's also very much like a modern take on that sort of like chiptune video game, fighty game kind of music. I would happily, like, I don't know, go to a gig where they just played this album, like a DJ set at me, and I danced around like an absolute nutter and hopefully didn't get into any street fights. But yeah, I would highly recommend it if you're into sort of like dance and electronica and chiptune and 8-bit stuff. Yeah, I'd give it a whirl. It's good times.
Cool.
I've got a sneeze brewing.
Mr. Sneeze.
I was trying to do that so you could like edit it out, but
Okay, sorry.
Oh, well.
I then just drew more attention to it and made a thing out of it, like its own little segment.
Have we got time for another segment, or?
We have, because the segment is going to be Saturday morning games. So
Saturday morning games.
Hey. Jazz.
Go on, then.
So all right.
Chop chop.
So my Saturday morning gaming, which is why I wanted to sort of like, which is why I didn't say that much in the previous segment, which makes it sound like the previous segment was last year, is Streets of Rage 4.
Way!
Fight. That was a classical piece taken from the first Streets of Rage game. So I have a long history with Streets of Rage because this first came out on the Mega Drive way back when, and I had a main Mega Drive way back.
Woo!
And there were two games that like I just could not get enough of. One was Streets of Rage, and the other one was Golden Axe.
Oh, I was going to try and guess, and I was going to say something shit like Echo the Dolphin.
that would have ended this segment real fast.
Oh God, Echo the Dolphin was so shit. Sorry.
Fine. I'm Echo the Dolphin. Yeah, it's lovely, mate.
You just go up to stuff and go, "Carl." Like, what are you supposed to do? Help! I don't have hands.
Echo was trapped down the mine shaft. Ow! Get help! Ow! I don't know why Echo the Dolphin suddenly turned into Michael Jackson.
I was just going to say, did he moonwalk off in a slide?
Oh, this has gone to shit.
Streets of Rage.
Yeah, Streets of Rage is not to be confused with Streets of Echo. It's a completely different game. Yes, so I absolutely love Streets of Rage 1, 2, 3. And I had no idea they were doing a reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it, on Xbox and sort of PS4 and wherever, until last week. And then I was like, what the fuck? They're doing a Streets of Rage game. I'm all over that. And so I got it last week or whatever, and genuinely was quite nervous about playing it because I just thought, what if this isn't as good or whatever? And it is just awesome because it manages to be basically the Streets of Rage that I remember, but yet they've jazzed it up just enough for me to sort of go, okay, cool, but we're on the Xbox One and it's taking advantage of that. And I'd forgotten the simple pleasures of just going XXX to smash someone in the face until they disappear. I'd forgotten those simple pleasures, Stace, because we have all these complicated games now where you got to like go on quests and collect things and do shit and blah 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 and talk to people and have cut. Whereas this one's like literally anyone that comes in front of you, you just smack enough times and they will disappear and you move on to the next set. That's all you need to know. There's your jump. There's your punch. And I even remember back in the day we used to play all these games and we'd literally go in someone's house and go, all I need to know is what's my punch, what's my jump, and if it was a really advanced game, what's my block?
And then you fail to use it and almost immediately die. Yeah,
you never use it. Blocks for you losers. But yeah, the game is it's awesome. And what I quite like is because it's got like two of the main characters from the first games. And there's a couple of cameos that I don't want to spoil. But the main character is Axel Stone.
What a great name.
Yeah, and I just like they've aged him and he's got a bit of a beard, he's got a bit of a paunch, and yet still thinks it's cool to dress as he dressed in the first game. And it kind of doesn't really work anymore, which I quite like.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, and he's sort of a woman, I've forgotten her name now, it's something Blaze. And she's wearing the most impractical outfit. To be fair, there's a lot of impractical outfits in this game anyway.
Yeah.
But there's some guy. So you've been watching Rich play, haven't you?
Yeah. So I've seen up to about the police commissioner, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he might have played it since then without me hanging around his shoulder, but yeah.
There's a set of like enemies in there because you've got all the different random enemies, which are kind of classic beat 'em up enemies anyway. But there's a particular sort, and they're kind of they're guys. They haven't got any tops on, and they've just got their hands in their pockets, and they've got baggy trousers, and they just kind of walk on and start kicking you. Look out for them next time we play it. They are the most annoying enemy characters I've ever played in a video game. Because A, it's the fact they walk on their hands in their pockets, like you're not even taking it seriously. B, because they always kick me at least once, and I lose my shit. I properly get annoyed. And then I forget all my plans go out the window, and I just make a beeline for that. And I was like, have some baggy trousers, wanker.
You've just reminded me. I'm going to have to send you a video of this. There is a wrestler. I know you're not like a huge fan of wrestling, but there is a wrestler called Orange Cassidy whose whole bit is that he just doesn't like take anything really very seriously, and he wrestles nearly all the time with his hands in his pockets, but he's actually really fucking good at it. It is amazing to watch because he's just always just like leaning against things, looking real cool, and then just like dodging stuff and kicking people. It's wonderful.
These guys are really annoying. Really annoying.
I know Oh, to be fair, it looks great. I will have to have a go at some point. I don't think it's a game that me and Rich could play 2-player though, because I think he'd get cross at me for not killing things fast enough, or accidentally kicking him, which I'm pretty sure I would almost immediately do.
Yeah, it is great that they've still got the 2-player option on there as well, which is cool.
Yeah. I know I've only got a couple of minutes left, so I want to ask: have you seen the trailer for Mortal Kombat 11 that includes RoboCop and the Terminator?
The silence should speak for it. No.
You have to watch it. So in the next Mortal Kombat game, you can play as RoboCop, and I'm not going to spoil it. Go and watch the trailer for the fatality because it is fucking immense. The RoboCop fatality is fucking it's like finish him and then shit hits the fucking fan. It is so good. Oh my god, it looks so good.
I mean, I know we've got minutes left, but I've just got to ask the question. You know, I've played the Mortal Kombat games, not all of them, but I've played a considerable amount of the games to know that it's a fairly fast-moving game in terms of like martial arts and stuff like that. RoboCop never really struck me as a very fast-moving martial art type character.
He has got a gun.
Okay, does he literally just stand there and just shoot people?
I mean, you're not far wrong.
Okay.
The Terminator looks great in it as well. Like, I don't know how or why they've thrown these characters in, but it's just like, do you want to fight? Do you want to fight as Arnie against the RoboCop? You're like, yeah, I do. It looks great. It looks so great. Oh, yeah, check it out. Check out that trailer. You'll be all over it. I don't even really like Mortal Kombat that much anymore because I feel like after 11 games, I'm like, come on now, guys. But literally, this one is like, oh, it is RoboCop though. I want to do it.
I always used to get really annoyed in the Mortal Kombat games because, at least the Street Fighter games, because there wasn't really any like extra stuff you could do at the end. You were like, once you won, you're like, yeah, I won. But with Mortal Kombat, you'd always get to that bit where you'd hit them and they're sort of swaying.
Yeah.
And it's like, finish him. And right, I've got seconds to do this really complicated move that I can't even remember how to do. And like, you're trying to do it, and then it doesn't work, and the guy just falls over, and it's just a real
anticlimax. Yeah, I think I've managed to actually do like a fatality move, like maybe once, and I don't know how I did it. I just mashed the key. I was like, buttons.
The problem is, I could do a couple of them, but I could only ever do like maybe one or two that I knew. So the problem was, like, finish him. Well, I'll just finish him exactly the same way I've done the other 50 times. Then shall I?
Just wait for a breeze to knock him over. Oh dear. Well, hey, it's time for us to go and have a beer. I mean, breakfast.
For breakfast, burrito is what you meant.
The beer breakfast. No, come on. I haven't drunk already, I swear.
Yeah, and the rest.
Oh, guys, if you want to get in touch with us, you can send us a tweet at Stacey's Parlour at Geek Syndicate. You can drop us an email at staceyandbarry@gmail.com. Leave us a review on, I don't know, Apple Podcasts or somewhere. I don't know. Wherever you do a review of podcasts. And have a ruddy good weekend, you beautiful people.
Yeah, and if you want to have a really great weekend, don't watch live action Aladdin. Do something else with your time.
Yeah, just, I don't know, just put on the original Aladdin and be like, oh, this is good, this.
Yeah. I remember those days before I knew what it was like to have seen live action Aladdin. All 30 minutes of it that I watched.
What a waste of 30 minutes. I watched the whole fucking thing. Anyway, I love you all. Bye.
Bye all.
Like, the arrangements of the music in the live action version are so fucking dull. No one in that movie can sing. Jasmine can fuck off with that song about girl power that's got nothing to cunting do with anything.
Didn't even get that far.
Oh, mate, it's so... But there's like a whole extra song where she's like, I've got boobs, but I've also got a voice. And it's all like one of them. And I'm like, do you know what? I'm a staunch feminist. Everybody who knows me knows I am like equal rights for all, regardless of gender. How about that? But like, it sticks out like such a sore thumb in the movie because it's got nothing to do with anything fucking else. She still ends up having to get married at the end, like the original. Because as much as the original cartoon version is actually one of my favourite Disney films, I don't like the fact that the whole story is essentially about a woman forced to marry. like that is the story. Down. Yeah. It's like, oh, look at this skinny, beautiful princess woman. There's no other women in the film, like, except... I think there's some like hallucinated ones or ones that the genie just conjures out of thin air to do a dance in the background of fucking Friend Like Me or whatever. Yeah. There's like, she literally doesn't have a conversation with another female person. But like the live action one, as soon as Aladdin starts singing One Jump Ahead of the Dip, I was like, everything about this is shit.
Do you know what? I'm so glad. It's such a shame we're social distancing. Not that I see you that often anyway, because I would hug you forever. Because we sat down to watch it, and I was already a little bit, because I've done the Beauty and the Beast one, and that was all right, to be fair, but I was a bit suspect because I really like Aladdin, and one of my favourite songs is the One Step, because I'm a big fan of like big musicals, and that first set piece is just everything good about Disney music.
Bombastic musical parkour, yes please.
One Step, it's just awesome. And when he starts singing it, I literally heard him go One Step, and I was like, I'm out. I'm out. The arrangement is wrong. They slow it down. The bits where he should be moving really quickly, they pause so he's doing more bits. It was just by the time it finished, I looked at Sue, and she was trying not to make eye contact because it was her idea to watch it, and she was trying not to, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, no, let's give it a chance. Even though that's my favourite song, let's give it a chance. And then, to be fair, Will Smith was all right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't, but then he did. You've Got to Have a Friend Like Me, which I quite like. Which I like that song anyway, and it was all right. But when he did the Prince Ali, which I really liked that song, it didn't. Here's my thing with Will Smith, right? He can rap the fuck out of anything.
Yeah, right? He's not a singer though.
No, Men in Black. I love all those raps he does for those. Love it. Wild Wild West. Not a great film, awesome song. However, why would you cast him as the genie and not just give him raps to do? Because he can't sing.
They made so many bad decisions in that film. Like everybody is boring. The only person I actually liked was Jasmine's handmaiden, who was literally only brought into the film to be another woman that exists, I think.
You know what? Not even a person. The only thing in there I liked was actually the carpet. The only thing that actually had personality was the carpet.
I do love the carpet.
And I said to Sue, all they've got to do is do the same CG they use for, and they've got to just get the same animation, do a cut and paste, boom, job done. Even Iago, who's wicked in the cartoon, he's just a parrot.
Just shit. Just everything about it is like. Because the thing about Aladdin that I've always loved about it is that it's very bombastic, it's fast paced, it's in your face. There's loads of like really quick, catchy, quippy musical bits. It only really slows down for A Whole New World, which is fine because you've got to have the ballad, blah blah blah, whatever. But like the genie's quipping the shit out of it, Abu's running around being adorable and also a little bit of a shit. The carpet is fucking hilarious, even though he's literally a carpet. Like everything about the movie is great. This live action version, it's like they took that and they said, what if though we turned it down to about 4? What if we took it from 11 and we turned it down to just about 4? And I'm like, what the fuck was anyone thinking? Like, because I watched it when Rich was out the one night, and I texted him. He'd already seen it, but he still hasn't seen the cartoon version. He doesn't want to watch it yet until he's sort of forgotten the live action one. So I watched it without him, and I texted him, and I was like, "Does it get better than the first song?" And he just laughed. He just sent a laughy emoji, and I was like, "Oh."
But also, like, genuinely, even though I've seen Aladdin a couple of times, so I know, I wouldn't say I know the film inside and out, but I know the film. I genuinely didn't realise that was Jafar to begin with.
The old dude.
He just looked like the bad guy, the main bad guy. Jafar, Jafar, he's standing there. He's literally standing there. And I'm like, who's that guy supposed to be? That's Jafar. I was like, fuck off, it's Jafar. I mean, like, I know it's a cartoon, so obviously they can take liberties. But when you see Jafar in a cartoon, he has villain stamped on his forehead. He cannot make him. That's one thing Disney does really well. They make their villains look like villains. There's no grey area. There's like, that's your bad guy. This is the kids. This is who you don't want to grow up to be. This is who you boo. There's no, he got that way because he was something went wrong in his life. No, he just woke up one day and he's a bad guy. Whereas in this one, he looked like one of the henchmen. He just didn't. There was nothing menacing about him whatsoever.
He's really handsome.
Yeah.
I was like, you're too gorgeous to be Jafar. What are you doing?
And also as well, he looked a little short. He looked like Aladdin could have given him a kicking. Besides, and Aladdin looked like he was 35, dressed in like he was 16. What was that about?
Yeah. I know. I don't know what any of the decisions in this movie, like why they were made. They should have started writing it and then gone, what are we doing? This movie's perfect. Let's fucking move along to the next one.
Yeah.
Because the thing that gets me about Aladdin, like, I can sort of see why you might want to do an updated Beauty and the Beast. I can sort of see why you'd want to go for something like Cinderella. But like Aladdin he's going to rely a lot on the visual spectacle. And if you can't pull that off in the CGI, which this movie can't, don't fucking do it. This movie has so many sequences where it's like Will Smith's face floating a few inches above where it should fucking be. Like, it's bad. It is bad. Or it's like, that is clearly not even his face. Like, it's just, I hated it so much. Because it's like, yeah, like, as a film, it could be fine. But, like, knowing that the cartoon one already exists, I just don't know why you'd mess with the arrangement of those songs, because they are fucking note perfect. Yeah. Oh, it's just such a dick move. Anyway, we need to record a podcast.
Yes. I feel better now. I'm ready now. I've got that out of my system.
Good times.
Right. I have no idea what episode number we are.
No, me neither.
Who cares?
Who cares?